You don't need luck. You don't need the perfect timing. You don't need validation, applause, or someone to believe in you first. You need consistency. You need discipline. You need mindset. That's the formula. Not magic, not miracles, just showing up when it's hard, choosing the work when no one's watching, thinking in alignment with the life you say you want. Consistency is doing it when the motivation is gone. When it's cold, when it's inconvenient, when it's not fun anymore, that's where the results live, in repetition, not in excitement. Discipline is doing what's right over what's easy. It's not letting your feelings make your schedule. It's telling your excuses to sit down while you stand up. It's building a legacy while others are building comfort. And mindset is the engine. It's the reason you keep going when the road is ugly. It's the fire that doesn't need fuel from the outside. It's knowing the difference between I can't and I won't. Success isn't a mystery. It's a decision made daily. It's not just what you do. It's how you think, how you train your mind to obey your mission. You don't rise when it's easy. You rise when it's necessary, when there's no plan B, when you become non-negotiable about your future. So no, you don't need luck. You don't need hype. You need consistency. You need discipline. You need the mindset of someone who refuses to fold. Because the truth is, you already have everything it takes, but only if you're willing to keep choosing it. Even on the days it doesn't choose you. Here's a more powerful and refined version of your line, keeping the same core message but amplifying its impact. Asterisk asterisk, a consistency outlasts motivation, because results don't come from how you feel once, but from what you do over and over. Asterisk asterisk, if you'd like, I can give you 5 alternate variations with different tones: poetic, hard, hitting, minimalist, etc. Let me know your preferred style. Discipline means doing what's needed, not what's easy, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. It's the early mornings when the bed feels better than the grind. It's the late nights when your goals ask for more than your comfort is willing to give. It's showing up, even when there's no applause, no spotlight, no reward in sight. Discipline is a silent promise, a quiet commitment to yourself that says, I'll do it anyway, not because it's fun, not because it's exciting, but because it's necessary. It's brushing past the voice in your head that says, just skip it today. It's saying no to short-term pleasure because long-term purpose matters more. It's becoming the kind of person who follows through, not when it's easy, when it's hard. Discipline doesn't wait for the perfect mood. It doesn't care if you're tired, uninspired, or overwhelmed. It demands effort. It expects consistency. It respects the mission more than the mood. Your future doesn't respond to feelings. It responds to discipline. The life you want, it's on the other side of what you're willing to repeat. You don't build a legacy on convenience. You build it on repetition, on pushing through resistance, on honoring your word when no one else would blame you for quitting. Discipline is rare because it requires self-leadership. It's the inner voice that holds the line when the world offers distractions. It's the quiet grind that doesn't post for praise. It's who you become when no one is watching. And when you look back, it won't be the easy days you're proud of. It'll be the hard ones, the ones where you didn't feel like it, but you did it anyway. Mindset shapes everything. It's not just how you think. It's how you see, how you speak, how you move through the world. Your thoughts are the architects of your actions, and your actions, they build your future. Brick by brick, decision by decision. If you think you're capable, you'll move like you're capable. If you believe you're limited, you'll shrink to fit that belief. That's the power of mindset. It sets the ceiling, or it removes it. Your mind is the first battlefield. Before the challenge, before the test, before the goal, your mind decides what's possible. If you feed it doubt, you'll hesitate. If you feed it courage, you'll take the step. Your reality is a mirror reflecting the thoughts you entertain the most. You want to change your life. Start with what you tell yourself in silence. Start with the conversations no one hears but you. Mindset is more than positive thinking. It's disciplined thinking. It's rewiring your reflex to quit. It's training your focus to find purpose, not problems. Most people wait for the world to change so they can change. But the truth is, your world changes when your mind does. The way you handle failure, setbacks, rejection, that's mindset. Do you let it define you, or do you let it refine you? Strong mindset doesn't mean you're never afraid. It means fear doesn't get to make decisions for you. When your mind is aligned with your vision, your actions begin to reflect your purpose, and your future begins to bend in your favor. Because every habit you build, every step you take, every risk you choose, starts with a thought you believed enough to act on. So if you want different results, don't start with the world, start with your mind. Because mindset doesn't just influence your future, it creates it. You don't need perfect timing or external support. You don't need the stars to align. You don't need permission, approval, or a sign from the universe. What you need is inner drive. What you need is commitment, not the kind that lasts a week, the kind that survives every excuse. Perfect timing is a myth. There will always be something in the way, something unfinished, something uncertain. If you wait until everything feels right, you'll wait forever. Progress doesn't care if the moment is perfect. It responds to action. It responds to consistency. It responds to you showing up even when it's inconvenient. External support is great, but it's not guaranteed. People won't always understand your vision. They won't always cheer for you. Sometimes they'll doubt you. Sometimes they'll leave. Sometimes it'll just be you, your dream, and the silence. And that has to be enough. Because if your drive depends on applause, you'll stop clapping the moment it gets hard. But when it comes from within, when your reason is stronger than your resistance, nothing can shake you. Inner drive is waking up with a mission, even when no one's watching, even when no one's helping. It's knowing this isn't about luck, it's about loyalty to your future. Commitment means staying in it when the results are invisible. When growth is slow, when doubt gets loud, when everything in you says maybe later, and you answer back no now, the world will keep moving, distractions will keep calling, but you have to choose yourself again and again. Until your habits match your hope, until your discipline matches your desire, you don't need a perfect plan. You need to begin and then keep going, with or without applause, with or without perfect timing. Because it's not the world's job to believe in you, it's yours. Success is a daily decision, not a one-time event, not something you stumble into, not something that magically appears when the conditions are perfect. It's a choice, made over and over again, in the quiet moments, in the hard moments, in the ordinary days when no one's watching. Success doesn't show up in one grand gesture. It shows up in 1,000 small ones. The alarm you didn't snooze, the workout you didn't skip, the hour you spent working when you could have been scrolling. Every decision is a vote for the future you want. Every action either builds you or breaks you. There is no neutral, there is no pause. It's easy to make a decision once, but success asks you to make it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next, when the motivation fades, when the novelty wears off. When it's just you and the work, the world celebrates the breakthrough, but the real power is in what came before it, the days you showed up, the times you didn't quit, the habits you chose when no one was looking. Success is not a moment, it's a mindset, it's not a finish line, it's a lifestyle. It's not about how you feel today, it's about what you're building every day. You don't wait for success, you create it. With focus, with consistency, with decisions that reflect who you want to become, one day of greatness won't carry you. It's the daily grind that lifts you. It's the commitment to excellence when average would be easier. So don't ask yourself if you can do it once. Ask if you're willing to do it daily, to show up when you're tired, to focus when you're distracted, to grow when it's uncomfortable, because the truth is success isn't owned. It's rented, and the rent is due every single day. Comfort is the enemy of growth. It feels safe, it feels warm, but it keeps you still. It whispers you're fine where you are, even when your soul is hungry for more. Even when your potential is screaming for motion. Growth doesn't happen in easy. It happens in resistance, in tension, in the uncomfortable places where you're stretched beyond what you thought you could handle. Greatness is not found in routines that require nothing of you. It's forged in the fire of discipline, failure, and grit. It's built in the moments where quitting looks easier, but you choose to rise anyway. Comfort keeps you in circles, growth pushes you into new territory. Comfort says, stay small, growth says, break through. You don't become stronger by avoiding pain, you become stronger by walking through it, by choosing struggle over settling. By choosing progress over peace. Comfort wants you to wait for the perfect moment, growth tells you the perfect moment is now. Comfort wants guarantees, growth demands faith. Comfort feels good for a while, but then it dulls you, it numbs your ambition, it silences your fire. You weren't built to live in a cage made of soft choices. You were made to rise, to endure, to expand. That means discomfort, that means setbacks. That means stepping into rooms that challenge you, situations that stretch you, paths that scare you, because what feels hard now becomes the strength you carry later. What breaks you today builds you tomorrow. The people you admire, they didn't grow in ease, they grew in pressure, they grew in sweat, they grew because they refused to stay comfortable. So if it's stretching you, good. If it's scary, good. If it's uncomfortable, great. That means you're growing, because comfort never made anyone great, but struggle shapes greatness. Excuses are loud, they echo in your mind with perfect timing. They show up when the work gets hard, when the path gets long, when comfort starts calling your name. Excuses will always find a reason. They'll say, not today. They'll say, you're too tired. They'll say, you're not ready yet. And they will sound convincing. They will feel familiar, because excuses are easy. They ask for nothing and take everything. But your actions must be louder, louder than your fear, louder than your doubt, louder than every story your mind tries to sell you. You don't silence excuses by arguing with them. You silence them by doing the work, by showing up, by following through. Let your efforts speak, let your habits respond, let your discipline drown out the noise. Discipline doesn't wait for motivation. It doesn't ask how you feel. It moves on purpose. It walks straight through resistance. Because when discipline takes over, doubt loses its power. It has nothing to hold on to, nothing to feed on. Your excuses will scream, but your consistency can quiet them with every rep, every early morning, every late night, every time you keep going. Let discipline become your default. Let it speak for you when your mind wants to quit. Let it remind you that comfort is not your goal, progress is. You don't need perfect conditions, you need a clear decision, a decision to act anyway. To move forward, regardless of how loud the excuses get. The louder the excuse, the more important the action, because your future won't remember what you planned. It will only remember what you did, and what you kept doing. So when doubt rises, when hesitation creeps in, don't try to explain yourself. Just act, just move, just build. Let your actions be so loud that excuses stop trying to compete. Rise not when it's easy, but when it's necessary. When standing up feels like the hardest thing to do, that's when it matters the most. Anyone can move when the path is clear. Anyone can act when the weight is light. But real growth, real strength, that's revealed when the pressure is on. Pressure exposes what's real. It shows you what you believe, what you fear, and what you're truly made of. Growth doesn't wait for convenience. It shows up in the middle of chaos, in the storm, in the moments that feel too heavy to hold. It demands more from you than you think you have, and in giving more, you discover who you really are. You rise not because it's easy, you rise because the alternative is staying stuck, because settling is no longer an option. Pressure creates the break, but also the breakthrough. It shakes you, but it shapes you. Diamonds are born in pressure, steel is forged in fire, and you grow in the middle of your hardest days. When life presses in on every side, that's when your character is built. That's when your future is being carved, not in comfort, but in the grind. You may feel like you're being buried, but you're actually being planted. You may feel like you're breaking, but you're being rebuilt. Growth demands sacrifice. It asks you to give up your excuses. It asks you to lean into discomfort, to rise with trembling legs and tired eyes because the mission still matters. You don't get stronger by avoiding the climb. You get stronger by taking one more step, one more rep, one more breath, not when it's easy, but when it's necessary, because the greatest version of you is born under pressure, and when you rise in that fire, you never rise the same again. Legacy is built in private, not in public. It's shaped in the quiet, in the unnoticed hours, in the choices you make when no one's watching. Everyone sees the result, but few ever witness the repetition, the late nights, the early mornings, the days when motivation was gone, but you showed up anyway. Legacy is not a moment of glory. It's the thousands of moments no one claps for. It's what you do when it's not trending, when it's not easy, when it's just you and the work. You can't fake consistency. You can't cheat repetition. What you practice in private becomes who you are in public. What you build in the dark eventually shines in the light. It's the silent discipline that creates the loudest impact. Not the performance, not the applause, but the grind behind closed doors. Success without character is empty, and character is built in the shadows where it's just you, your habits, and your choices. You can talk about what you want, but your routine will tell the truth. You can post about ambition, but it's your persistence when no one is looking that builds something real. Private discipline creates public legacy. Private effort leads to public excellence. The world will see the outcome, but only you will know the price, the hours, the focus, the sacrifices. If you're not willing to work in silence, you'll never hold success in the spotlight. Because legacy isn't built overnight. It's built daily, with small actions repeated with purpose, with integrity that doesn't depend on attention. So keep showing up. Keep choosing the work over the noise. Keep building in the dark, because one day, what you did in silence will speak louder than anything you ever said out loud. You already have what it takes. You don't need more talent. You don't need a miracle. You don't need someone to hand you a shortcut. What you need is to show up every day, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel ready, especially then, because potential means nothing without presence, without action, without the willingness to meet your future halfway. What you carry inside you is powerful, but power unused fades. Potential ignored dies slowly. Greatness needs attention. It needs effort. You have what it takes, but only if you're willing to put it to work. Only if you keep going after the emotion wears off. Only if you're consistent when the results don't come fast. The gap between who you are and who you can become is not filled with luck. It's filled with effort, with decisions made in the mundane moments, with focus applied on ordinary days. There's nothing missing in you. You're not too late. You're not behind. You're simply standing in front of a choice to show up or stay the same. Your breakthrough is not buried in someone else's path. It's hidden in your own persistence, in your quiet yes. When no one claps for you, when it's not easy to keep going, the truth is simple. You don't need to wait for confidence. You build it by showing up again and again until your actions silence your doubt. Consistency is how you meet your potential. It's how you take what you already have and shape it into something unshakable. You already have the tools, the fire, the strength, but the key is not just having it, it's using it daily, deliberately, without needing permission or perfect conditions. So show up, not just once. Not just when it feels good, but again and again and again, because what you have is enough if you're willing to prove it with your presence. So don't wait for a sign, don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait for someone to tell you you're ready. You already are. But greatness doesn't respond to potential, it responds to persistence. So show up, stay steady, and trust this truth. What you do consistently will echo louder than anything you ever dreamed quietly. Future is watching, and it's built by those who refuse to stop showing up.